guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shelby and I'm the owner of the Gift Gala shop. I make non-toxic personalized soy candles for all kinds of events and special occasions, and I just love spreading happiness through my scent blends and my custom labeling. And I'm just super glad you're here with me today. Something that's super fresh in my mind right now, probably because the economy and because it's like an everyday thing for small business owners, is how to cut costs and maximize your profits. I feel like this is just a major wound for everybody right now. And if you have a small business, it's something that you're going to be working through each year, regardless of how the economy is. We all want to make the most money from our products and find places to cut costs and maximize our profit margins. Each year, I try to do an audit on my shipping costs, my packaging costs, my product costs, and just going through all the details on where is the outflow of money going versus this money coming in. You would be amazed at how all of those little teeny tiny costs add up and eat at your profit margin. So I just want to share with you guys some things that have worked for me. I started my very first business in 2011 and then started my candle business in 2018. And these are just some things I've learned over the last several years that I think will help you guys maximize your profit margin as well. And they might be things that you've already thought about, and that's great if you have, and if there are things that you haven't, I hope this brings it to your attention so that way maybe you can make a little extra dough. So the first thing is manufacturing, and I think that's the biggest pain point we're all feeling right this very second. And not just manufacturing in terms of having your products manufactured, but your supplies. You know, if they're coming overseas, those tariffs are probably impacting you. And even before this whole tariff thing took place, last year I did a hard, and I mean really hard, audit on my product materials, really getting to the bottom of what I was actually paying per candle, per label, clear down to how much ink am I using per label, which I already pretty much knew. It's pretty easy when you add new product line and you get all caught up in making your items, or if you don't make them, just shipping them, packaging them up, and you kind of lose track as to where all the pennies are. Last year in my investigating, I found different places to source my jars. I found a different way to print my labels. There was just a lot of things that helped me cut costs. Now, this year, with the whole tariff situation, has really presented a new challenge, which as a small business owner, you should know by now that this journey is full of challenges. I really need to stop and say that if you are totally panicking about what's happening with importing goods, please don't panic, because like I say in every video, we're all rowing in the same waters, and where there's a will, there's a way. We can always pivot, we can always change, and still keep our businesses afloat and thriving. So whether you're a candle maker or you just have a creative small business, the number one thing that I have always done is made my own products from scratch. And of course, not all businesses can be run that way. But this is my first tip on saving money in your small business. If there is anything that you can hand make and you can do it inexpensive enough that it merits the work that you're going to have to do, then I say 100% go for it. There's just some things that maybe you were purchasing before that is something that you could do in-house. And that's something you need to research within your business, whether you're making bookmarks or you're doing stationery. Would it be more feasible for you to go buy a higher end printer to print your own stationery versus having it imported and paying that higher tariff? So that's something you need to be thinking about in a way that you could save money. Another tip for saving money, which I feel like I've done this with both of my businesses and will continue to do so, is making to order. Now, I know some of you guys' business plans and structures are totally different, where you're going to batch something and sell your batches, or you're getting a whole bunch of something in and just marketing the tar out of that one thing. And if that's what you're doing, great, that's awesome, do that for you. But if you're in a creative small business that you're starting from the beginning, or you're trying to scale a little bit and you don't really know what products are going to sell or what your customers are going to like, then I 100% recommend making your items to order. Now, this does make you work under more pressure. And if you don't like working under pressure, then this might not be something you want to do. I have a 5-day processing time, including for my favors. And my favor orders can be 200 candles. And that means I have 5 days to get the materials, pour them, get them labeled, and ship them, which is not very long. But there's no way that I could stock 100 of my fragrances in, let's say, 100 4-ounce candles. One, I don't have the place to house them. And two, what if, everybody was wanting one particular scent and then they weren't interested in any of the other ones and I just didn't sell them? Making to order is a way you can keep your money together. You don't have leftovers. You're not stuck with a whole bunch of inventory if it doesn't sell. It allows you to kind of experiment and put stuff out there to see if people are interested in it. And then once you realize that your customers like a certain product or a certain scent or whatever it is that you're making, then you can batch that if you want, or order it, whatever it is that you're selling. You can keep more of those in stock if you know that they're going to sell. So tip number 2 is make to order. And just a little note, if you are going to make to order, make sure your processing times are fair to your customers and to yourself. I've found that customers do not want a processing time past 7 days. 7 days seems to be the sweet number. The only time that I've lengthened my processing time out to 7 days is during like Christmas and the busy season. It's so funny because people will wait 5 days and you won't hear a word from them. And a lot of them will wait for 6 days. But on that 7th day, I swear, I will get 10 emails on that 7th day every time. And that's understandable. We're living in the era of Amazon and instant gratification. And so people do expect their products quickly. And of course, I want my customers to have them quickly as well. So just be careful about that. If you are going to make to order, make sure that you can make the products and get them to the customer in a feasible time, so that way you don't get into the mess of people being upset that they didn't think that it shipped, or that it was super slow, and then they start bothering you and then you get stressed. It's just a whole thing. So be really careful in the processing time. So that kind of spills over into the next tip, which is buying in bulk. Regardless of the business that you're in, oftentimes buying in bulk saves you a whole lot of money. And in terms of that corresponding to your profit margin, you might be saving, let's say, $2 or $3 per product, and that adds up. In my busy season, I'll buy pallets of jars if I know what's going to sell. In the slower seasons, I don't buy as many jars. And specifically for candle making, buying in bulk is not near as rewarding as it used to be, sadly. The price change is really not even enough for me to want to buy in bulk, but where I do save money is in freight. Anything that's extremely heavy, you have to always consider what it's going to cost to get the materials to you, and you have to figure that in to your product pricing. And so I might find a jar that's, let's say, 35 cents from a different manufacturer that it normally was, $1 from this person over here. Well, this 35-cent one ends up costing me $2 to get it here, and this one over here only cost me 20 cents. This more expensive jar was actually the better deal because the freight on this other one got me. So 100%, if you can buy in bulk and you know that you can sell the products and you're not going to be sitting on the inventory for a long time, I definitely recommend buying in bulk. Just be sure that it is products or materials that you can sell or will sell, or that you're okay with sitting on the inventory for a while. Because when you do buy in bulk, you do have to remember you have to have a place to store it, and you do have to be able to sell it on down the road somehow, some way. So if you're a new startup, definitely don't feel like you have to buy in bulk. Go ahead and pay a few more cents for smaller material orders or smaller product orders and get the stuff out in front of your customers. And then once you learn what's selling, then you can always buy more. And you can scale and begin to buy in bulk. The last tip, and the one that I'm most excited about, is postage and shipping materials. So we all know I love cute packaging, and I also like eco-friendly packaging. And most of you guys know that eco packaging is actually very expensive, even if it is plain. Anything that is recycled costs more because it had to be recycled versus just being manufactured. When you're shipping candles or something that's heavyweight, postage can end up eating up all of your profits. I truly think the candle industry is one of the hardest items to be able to ship and make significant profit, just because of the postage challenge due to the weight. But that's not to say you can't make super good profit on them. I just said it was a challenge. Do I think that cute packaging or aesthetic packaging is necessary, 100%. I think that in the competitive world that we're living in at the moment, you can't afford to not have memorable packaging. And I think you have to go one of two ways. You either have to just have the bare minimum where nobody is going to remember it, or you have to go all out and have it so meaningful and so thoughtful that they can't forget it. I do think, and not only do I think this, but it's backed up by studies, that the unboxing experience for a customer presets them to receive the product. So if they open up the box and they're just like, meh, that could be how they respond to your product. But if they go through this emotional unboxing and have all of these feelings before they ever even lay eyes on your product, chances are your product's going to be more well received. That doesn't mean that you can have a dumpy product. You 100% have to have a product that backs up the packaging. But I do think that aesthetic packaging is a must. And with aesthetic packaging comes an expensive price tag. Anything that's branded, a branded box, branded tissue paper, anything that has your brand on it is expensive. I did not care about my packaging. Well, I can't say that. I didn't care the way my packaging looked for a very long time. I just wanted to make sure the candles arrived safely, and I literally used to wrap them in bubble wrap, put them in a box with peanuts. That was it. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. And people love my candles still. As my business grew and my customer base grew, and I was designing all of these super duper adorable labels, I'm like, the packaging definitely needs to match the product. So let's say you're selling luxury jewelry. Okay, your packaging needs to reflect what the product is. So I would say you need luxury packaging. Now, that's going to be expensive. If you have your brand plastered all over everything, it's going to be expensive. And in some instances, I think that branded boxes, printed tissue paper is definitely worth the cost. But in some situations, it can add so much to your shipping costs that it eats into your profit terribly. But don't freak out, because there is a way you can create your own luxury packaging for a fraction of the cost and create super beautiful unboxing experiences that your customers are wowed with. First step that I recommend is buying a thermal printer. I print my own custom labels. Hello, I make candles with custom labels. So when I decided that I was going to do this super cute packaging, I was just churning out these sheets of labels. I had a label going on the bottom of the candle, a label going on the side of the candle, a label or two going on the gift box that the candles go in, fragile labels, my branded label going on the side of the box, and a shipping label. That was 6 labels. You're probably thinking, okay, stickers are cheap. Stickers are not cheap. If you have stickers printed or printing your own, they are not cheap, especially if you use a really nice printer, because you have to pay for the ink. And these are things you have to consider. So I'm not joking. There, for a period of time, I was spending $2 to $3 per item just on the packaging stickers. It was eating into my profit margin so bad. I'm like, wow, I don't really know how I'm going to create this unboxing experience that I want without these labels. Key in my thermal printer. Now I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on thermal printers. Not only are they adorable and cute, they use no ink. They're thermal, meaning they use heat to basically zap your sticker, essentially creating a sticker that looks printed. You have 0 cost in ink. I think my printer was rated for 300,000 prints or something. So it was crazy. It might have been 3 million. I don't remember. But the cost of the thermal printer was like $160, which is what I was paying per month in ink, just for my packaging labels. That is not for my candle labels. So in 1 month, my thermal printer paid for itself. The stickers themselves, the thermal stickers, are very inexpensive. All you have to do is go to Amazon, and you've got so many color options, you've got shape options, the whole bee's knees. If you're wanting to print in color, they're not a vibe. Because they use heat and burn the sticker, they can only print in black. But in terms of like for packaging and that type of thing, you can incorporate your brand colors and stuff through the background of the sticker and some different other ways. I will recommend to get a thermal printer. If you would like my cute pink Munbin printer, there is a link below and it will take you directly to the exact one I got. And I think they do have a wireless version now, so I'll link that one as well. But I love this thing. I've had it for, it's been a year or 2 years, and she's steadily printing labels. Another way you can cut costs on your shipping materials is your tissue paper. If you want branded tissue paper, I recommend No Issue Tissue, just because they're eco-friendly. They use eco-friendly paper and dyes. They do take a little while to get it shipped to you, so you need to order in advance, and of course it is a little more expensive, but they do the best job, in my opinion, at the best price. So another option is, if you are not using a ton of tissue paper and you have got some extra time on your hands, you can hand stamp your own tissue. I see several of the people I follow on Instagram do that, and it's so beautiful and such a heartfelt gesture to hand stamp your own tissue paper. Quite a bit of tissue paper, just because I wrap all my candles up so they're like little packages when people unbox them. So it's not really feasible for me to stamp it. I've always used just a plain colored sheet of tissue paper and bought that from Uline, because I buy all my boxes from Uline and I just have them throw it in the box to save on shipping. But for spring and summer, I thought it'd be really cute to get wildflower printed tissue paper, just because wildflowers are my logo and I'm kind of doing everything wildflower for the spring and summer. A lot of my designs are wildflower. I just thought it'd be a really fun aesthetic touch to have wildflower printed tissue paper. And I got that on Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's like 13 bucks for 100 sheets, and they're 20 by 15, I believe. So they're not super duper big. I am on the hunt for some 20 by 30 sized wildflower tissues, and I'm sure I'm probably going to have to custom order those in, and they will be a little more expensive. Another thing is your shipping boxes, branding your shipping boxes, whether you're going to look into printed boxes. I have used just a hand stamp. It gives your package a really unique, personalized feel where somebody knows that you hand package this whole order. If that's the feel that you're going for, then I definitely recommend the hand stamps. I think you can get them for like, I think I got mine for like $15. And you can even get the self-inking ones if you don't want to have to get an ink pad. The self-inking ones work fantastic, and they don't cost a whole lot more. One other thing that you guys ask me about all the time is my packing tape. You do have to get it wet, and I have a dispenser for it. I just have the generic $20 one from Amazon. There's two of them that self-wets it, that you just like press a little lever, and they're a little more expensive. I think they're a couple $100s. And then you can get like an automated one where you put in how long you want it to be and push a button and it self-wets it and then cuts it. Those are like super expensive, like I want to say 600 bucks or 1,000 bucks. I know it's been a while since I looked. That would probably be my next shop purchase, because I would really love to have the one that you just push. It's like a paper towel lever, and I would love to have that versus having to string it out and then rip it off. But it's been a non-essential shop purchase, so maybe I'll get that for myself as like a little treat around Christmas time when it gets really busy. So the last thing is the postage itself. This can cut into your costs as well. I use FedEx, UPS, and USPS just because where I live, I ship to New York, I ship to Oregon, I ship all over the United States, and I have shipped to Canada in the past, and right now that's kind of iffy because of the tariffs. But anyway, having the option to choose from all three postal companies saves me so much money, because like where we live in Texas, Oregon is as far away as you can get, and they're in a different zone. So it's actually less expensive for me and the customer if I ship using UPS versus USPS. And we're talking like $5 or $6. We're talking like a 2-pound package from USPS might cost me $15, whereas UPS, it's only going to cost $9. And that is a huge price difference, especially if you're doing calculated shipping for your customer. You want to give them the best option to get their package to them in a expensive way. If you're starting out in your creative small business, or you have scaled and you are using just one form of shipping or one postal company, I encourage you to look at some different options. And you can use places like Pirate Ship. You can go directly to USPS and get a wholesale account. If you're shipping hundreds of packages, There's a lot of ways to get discounts on your postage on top of using all the postal company. Always be sure that you are packing things so that they are safe, but you are packing them as small as you can, because obviously that's going to save you in postage. So like for me, I've changed my box sizes so many times. I have like probably 7 different box sizes that, like, I know, okay, I can put 3 4-ounce candles in this one, and I can put 3 8-ounce candles in this one, and then when I get to a 16-ounce, I can put it in here, but I can also put, the 3 5-ounces in there. So you have hundreds of product styles. You don't want to have hundreds of different sizes of boxes. You would have to have a giant warehouse just to house your shipping materials. So try to find boxes or poly bags, whatever it is that you're using, that you can use for multiple different size of packaging. And then there you go, where you can buy those in bulk, and then you can save money if you're gonna buy. And the very last way I want to talk about cutting costs and getting lean in your business is the platform that you're selling on. I know you probably already know this, you've heard it from everybody else, but pay attention to the platform that you're using. This does not mean I'm telling you to not use somewhere like Etsy. I use Etsy. I started on Etsy and I still use Etsy. So coming from somebody who has sold just on Etsy to a person that's grown, and I sell both on Etsy and on Shopify and on Fair Wholesale, the percentage that Etsy takes, yes, is money taken away from you. And I know that you're hardworking, and I know that that percentage is something you want to keep. But I do have to tell you, when you start marketing your own products, you will realize how much time, and I'm not even going to say money because I do not run ads, but how much time it takes you to market your own products. And your time is money. If you are working for $60 an hour, $100 an hour, $10 an hour, the amount of time it takes marketing on social media, on Pinterest, or you're just doing it word of mouth, it just takes up so much time. And you'll realize that that percentage that Etsy takes is because they are putting out all of this effort and all of these ads to bring customers your way. So the way that I like to look at Etsy is, sure, I would love to keep that percent, but I see them as a sales rep. And that percentage that they're getting is for being my own personal sales rep. And so, maybe an unpopular opinion, but the percentage that Etsy holds out really doesn't bother me that much, because if I were to hire somebody to work for me just to market my products, if it was one person that replaced me and they market on social media, they ran all my Pinterest pins, they made my YouTube videos, they made my TikTok videos, if I had one person doing all of that, it would probably take $100,000 to salary that person. So I just want to put that into perspective before I go on the band kick of telling you to have your own website and all this. Don't be afraid of Etsy, because Etsy can be a super great platform to sell on. I just don't encourage that to be your only platform that you sell on. I, of course, use Shopify. You can use Wix. You can use WooCommerce. The sky's the limit on e-commerce platforms, and you just need to research and see which one fits you and your business the best, and the one that you feel the most comfortable using, and run with it. Shopify does charge a monthly membership fee or whatever. I think I'm on the base plan, maybe that's like $30. I don't know. I might have gone up to the $70 or $80 one, just because I was getting more perks for it or whatever. So you do have that membership, but of course they don't take a percentage of your actual order amount. There is a credit card fee when you use credit cards, and you can, if you want to link PayPal, credit card, Shop Pay, whatever you want to use. They accept pretty much all payment forms. So you're not subject to all the extra fees that you are with Etsy, but you do have to market your website 100% on your own. And bringing traffic to your website is hard. I will tell you, it is super duper hard. It's a momentum thing, and once you gain momentum, you can't stop it. But climbing up that hill, man, it will wear you down, and it'll make those percentages on Etsy look pretty appealing there for a little while. However, at the end of it all, I believe that having your own website, having your own home, something that you own, something that cannot just disappear, or that you can't just be kicked off of like Etsy just because they felt like it or because the system had a glitch, I think that is essential in your small business, especially if this is something that you're wanting to make a career out of. You need something that's going to last, not something that you are under somebody. You didn't start your small business to still work for somebody else. So another way you can boost your profit margins is to sell on platforms that don't take a percentage from your profits. One more thing, fair wholesale does take 15% from your order if they don't purchase through your direct link. If they do shop through your direct link, then it's a 0%, which is a super sweet deal. And it's the same concept. If Fair brings me a wholesale client, the way that I see it is they were my sales rep, and I try very, very hard to keep my wholesale customers. I don't want them to just be a one-time sale. Obviously, we don't want anybody to be a one-time sale, but specifically for wholesale vendors, I try to get them to be repeat customers. And so I see Fair as a person that brings a lot of those people to me, and then I work really hard to keep those customers and then direct them to my direct purchase link. People have struggled with Fair and say that they don't get the credit for somebody purchasing through the direct link. The only thing that I can say about that is if the person purchasing from you does not click on that link and buy directly through that link, if they don't go straight to your shop and buy something right there, yes, you will not get the credit for it. And you do have to go to Fair and show all of this proof that the person was trying to buy through your direct link, and then they will give you credit for it. But it just has to do with if that person clicks out of the window that they were shopping in your store, if they click out of that window and then go off the page to shop marketplace and then try to again go back to your shop, you won't get credit for it. You just have to be careful with that. But like I said before, where there's a will, there's a way. So I hope that these tips helped you. I hope that you are able to maximize your profit to the fullest extent right now. I know that I am about to go through a major audit on my business again to see what expenses are absolutely unnecessary and I need to get rid of, and revisit my shipping costs as well as just my base material costs. See if we can't get a little more profitable. Things that seem really mundane, but they are essential in your business being profitable, and they are something you need to revisit every year just to make sure that you are getting paid the most for all of your hard work in your small business. Appreciate you guys sitting down and having a chat with me about it. This next week is going to be even more chaotic than this last week because I'm going to be gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to Guthrie to a barrel race, and then we'll be here till Wednesday. I'm going to get all of the orders caught up from this weekend, get them all shipped by Wednesday, and then we are going on our family trip to Nebraska. If you caught my very first video about how I started my business, you know that I am a country bumpkin from Nebraska, and we go up to the ranch periodically. So we're making that trip next week, probably from Thursday to hopefully Monday. We're going around all the fences to make sure that there's no holes in the fences so the cattle don't get out, and just check everything out after winter, which is always a really big undertaking. So this whole week and next week is going to be crazy. And I think next week's video, I'm going to do a Q&A. If you made it this far in this video, I'm so proud of you. And drop me a question that you would like me to answer in next week's video. And I'm going to try to do the whole segment on just questions that I get and answers. I have a giant running list of questions that people ask me and have asked me for years, so I don't think we're going to run out of questions. But if there's something in particular that you guys would like me to talk about or answer or try to answer, I would be glad to do so, and leave it in the comments, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching.